Hello dear students, how are you? I hope you are doing well. So in today's lecture we will discuss about water. So at the end of this presentation you will be able to understand what is safe and wholesome water, uses of water and sources of water. So water is important because without water human body dehydrates and physiological processes become severely impaired. Thus water is necessary for life. So much of the ill health is due to poor quality of water. So if quality of water is raised, so diseases will reduce. So what is safe and wholesome water? It is the water that is free from pathogenic organisms, it is free from harmful chemicals, and it is pleasant to taste and free from color and odor, and it is usable for domestic purposes. So water is said to be polluted and contaminated when it doesn't fulfill the above criteria. So when the physical properties and physical quality of water is impaired, like there is a turbidity in water, the color and odor, there is color and odor in the water, so we'll call this water as a polluted one. So contaminated water is the water that is having pathogenic microorganisms. So what is water requirement? So the basic physiological requirement for drinking water has been estimated at about 2 liters per head per day. So a daily supply of 150 to 200 liters per person is considered as an adequate supply to meet the needs of all urban domestic purposes. So water should be available in an adequate volume to reduce the incidence of water related diseases. So what are the uses of water? So there are following uses of water. So 7% of water that is used for domestic purposes like drinking, cooking, washing, bathing, flushing of toilets and gardening. And for public purposes water is also used for cleaning streets, in swimming pools, in public fountains and in ornamental ponds. These are, in Urdu we will call it sajawati ponds, and in order to protect the fire and in public parks. So 23% of water that is used for industrial purposes in different industries for processing and cooling, and 70% water that is used in agriculture for irrigation purposes, and next water is used for hydropower and steam power production. So it is also used for carrying waste through drainage. So what are the sources of water? So there are main three sources of water supply. Number one, rainwater. Number two, surface water. In surface water we have impounding reservoirs, rivers, streams, tanks, ponds and lakes. And number three, we have groundwater. In groundwater we have shallow wells and deep wells and springs. So number first source of water supply, that is rainwater. So it is the prime source of all water. Rainwater is the most pure water, and physically it is clear, bright and sparkling. Chemically it is soft, containing traces of dissolved solids. Or bacteriologically, in clean area it is free from pathogenic microorganisms. So the amount of rain water that is collected will depend upon the rainfall. So if there is 1 centimeter of rainfall over 1 square meter, it will yield 10 liters of water. So if you want to use this rainwater for drinking purposes, then you have to boil and disinfect this water. So rain receive impurities such as dust, microorganisms, soot, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and ammonia and sulfur as well. So in area where there is nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide present in the atmosphere, so rain become acidic. We will call this rain as an acidic rain. So acidic rain that have a serious impact on the quality of the ground. So the second source of water supply, that is surface water. So surface water that originates from the rainwater. So it is the main source of water supply in many areas. So example of surface water is rivers, streams, tanks, lakes, ponds and man-made reservoirs. So surface water that is prone to contamination from human and animal sources. So surface water needs purification before drinking and cooking. So in surface water we have impounding reservoirs. These are the artificial lakes. These are constructed by masonry with the cements and bricks. We will construct these reservoirs. In these reservoirs large quantity of surface water is stored. So dams built across rivers and mountains streams also provide large reserve of surface water. So catchment area, this is the area from which water is drained into the reservoir or an existing lake. So the disadvantage of storing water, that is the growth of algae and other microscopic organisms which impart bad taste and odor to the water. So these are the characteristics of impounding reservoir, and that the water that is in impounding reservoir, that is fairly good quality of water. It is clear, palatable, and ranked next to the rain water in purity. So the water is usually soft and considered as to be free of pathogenic microorganisms. So this water also have impurities, and it will get impurities from the catchment area and the sources. They are human habitation, animal keeping, and grazing. So the next type is river. In surface water we have rivers. So river water is turbid in Urdu we'll call it gadla pani. So that is turbid during rainy season, and it may be clear in other seasons. So clarity of water is no guarantee that river water is safe for drinking, because it contains dissolved and suspended impurities of all kinds. So impurities of river water will derive from surface washing, from sewage and sludge water. So sewage, this is the liquid waste that is having animal excreta, and sludge, that is the liquid waste that is not having the human excreta. So industrial and trade waste and drainage from the agriculture area, these are all impurities in the river. So next, surface water. The example of surface water is tanks. So tank, these are the large excavations in which surface water is stored, and they are an important source of water supply in some parts of the country. So tanks, they are the recipient of contamination of all sorts, because there are so many slits there, and colloidal metal is also present, especially after rain. So old tanks, they may be full of aquatic vegetation. There are algae and all other plants are grown in this water. So after the third source of water supply, that is the groundwater. So groundwater, we will get the groundwater when the rainwater, it will pass through, it will percolate or pass through the different layers of the soil, then it will become purified and it will become groundwater. So groundwater is the cheap and most practical mean of providing water to small communities, and it is superior to surface water because the ground itself provides an effective filtering medium. So here are the advantages and disadvantages of groundwater. So groundwater is free from pathogenic microorganisms. It requires no treatment, and its supply is likely to be certain even during dry seasons, and it is less subject to contamination than surface water. So what are the disadvantages? So in some areas it is high in mineral content, and it requires pumping or some arrangement to lift the water from the ground. So in groundwater we have wells and springs. So in wells, traditionally wells are the common and main source of water supply in most of the area. So there are two types of wells. There are shallow wells and deep wells. So shallow wells will get shallow wells by tapping subsoil water, and deep wells will get by tapping water from the water bearing stratum. So these are the layers of the soil. This is the subsoil layer. So if we will get water from this layer, then we will call this water as a shallow water, or deep water we will get after this bedrock layer. When the rainwater will percolate through all these layers, then it will come here, and this is a deep well layer level. So now shallow wells, they tap the water from above the first impervious layer. So impervious layer, this is the soil that is made up of sands and bricks. So and gravels as well. So the when the water will pass through these layers, and it will become clean. So this layer is called, that is made up of sands and breaks and gravels. This layer is called impervious layer. So shallow wells, we will tap the water from the first impervious layer, and in deep well we will tap the water from below the first impervious layer of the water. So chemically, shallow wells, the water is moderately hard, and but in deep well the water is much harder. So shallow wells, they are often grossly contaminated, but deep wells, they have pure water. And the shallow wells, they become dry in summer, but deep well, they have constant supply even in dry weather as well. So next come the sanitary wells. This is the well that is properly located and suitably constructed and well protected from contamination. Thus, it supplies safe water. So in a sanitary well, there should be following important points should be taken into account when you are constructing a sanitary well. There should be proper location, there should be lining, there should be parapet, there should be platform, drainage covering, and there should be a hand pump. This is an example of sanitary well. So location, the sanitary wells should be 100 feet away from the source of contamination, and they should be at high place. So lining should be built of bricks and stone. So 6 meter deep, lining should be 6 meter deep to allow the water to enter from the bottom, not from the sides of the well. The lining should be there. So there should be a parapet wall, that is a wall all around the well. So it should be of 2 to 3 feet above the ground. So then there should be a platform along with the parapet wall. The platform should be made with cement concrete that should extend at least 1 meter in all direction. So and it should have gentle slope outward, leading to a drain built along its edges. So then there should be a drain that should collect the spilt and dirty water from the platform of the well, and this should be channeled to a drain and soaked pit that is away from the well. So there should be a covering. The top of the well should be covered well by a cement concrete cover to avoid direct contamination. So this is the covering, this is the parapet wall of the sanitary well. So next comes the spring. So spring groundwater comes to the surface and flow freely under natural pressure. This is called spring. So cracks that are present in the earth, water enter in these cracks, and it will come out from other openings at lowest level. So there are two types of springs: shallow springs and deep springs. So shallow springs, they will dry up in summer season, but deep springs, they don't show any seasonal fluctuation. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, then you can type below.